Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, streaming live on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom! Or should I say, today'll be a fun one, man. Y'all know I'm always finding a way to incorporate some type of WWE with Dallas Cowboys, and it'll be about breaking the walls down. Who has risen their expectations due to their level of play or contract? We'll talk about all of that later today. Up in the roundup, we got Bones Fossil. He brought up a rookie and what he views that rookie doing. So he specifically brought him up, meaning he's going to have a role on that special team side. Plus, we pick back up our undrafted free agent spotlight. And this guy, I mean, I know the flavor of the month. I do know who the guy that we like a lot on the defensive side, but this one is fun. I think he's got a shot as well, man. This undrafted class is really damn good. What's up, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
I already see some of y'all up in the chat talking about, Victor going to San Antonio. I was going to say potentially going to San Antonio, but he's going to San Antonio. And I know that's basketball, and I know the Lakers lost yesterday, but let me tell you something about the Lakers. I am not as upset about that loss. I'm not at all. I think Ham found a pretty nice, combative way to deal with the Joker, who is unbelievable. And I understand. Look, Denver's going to be favored. Denver probably should win. But if we can get 7 games like that, I take it, man. I ain't tripping too much. I take it. That was a fun game. That was a good game. They fought back. My Lakers did. Didn't come down with the dub. But if they sneak, all they got to do is split the series in Denver. They split the series in Denver. Now, things get real interesting. They get real interesting. But appreciate y'all for being here, Bomb Squad. I don't want to get too far into the basketball side of things. We got a really fun one today. I know we are talking a lot about rookies, and we'll continue to talk about the rookies, but we got a lot of vets on this team and second year and third year players and whatnot that if we want to be where we want to be, we're going to be leaning on these guys. And that's what today is about. Some of the players that we did this last season, some of the players that through their play broke down those walls, broke through that glass ceiling and had to create a different one. What is their new ceiling now? And can they reach those expectations? We will be talking about that. I got 4 guys we'll discuss, and then any other player that you believe needs to be in this category, you can call in or chat about in the chat, and we can get to them as well. Call-in lines 351-999-3787, 351-999-3787. Yeah, Laker-Yankee Cowboy fans I don't like. I'm not a Laker-Yankee Cowboy fan. You know, I hate that, though, with fandom. That feels very bandwagon. You ain't gonna lie to you. If you were in the 90s and you liked all those teams, but what am I? Look, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan. What do you want me to do? We ain't won shit in 30 years, so I damn sure ain't no bandwagon Cowboy fan. I'm a Braves fan, by the way, and I feel disgusted about it because I really wasn't following the Braves when they won their World Series, so I couldn't celebrate. I told Pat, and Pat was like, "Scott, you got to get back into it." I said, "Yeah, Pat, but the love is gone, man." And boom, they win the World Series. And I'm like, God damn, I can't even get hype with it. But man, shame on y'all who shame fans for liking certain teams that aren't really bandwagon fans, man. Shame on y'all. Y'all ain't ish either, man. Y'all ain't ish. All right, let's get to this roundup.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
I guess since I'm from PA, I should probably like the Eagles. Is that how that goes? Or the Steelers? Is that y'all want me to start covering them? Man, Philly. Bones Fossil talked about DeMarvion Overshown, and he has some good things to say about him in regards to the special teams things. And this is where I thought Demo would make his biggest impact year one. But hey, we got a lot of time to see if he'll get on that field on a consistent basis. But this is what Bones Fossil said. He said, quote, based on his college tape, I feel like I can put Overshown anywhere on kickoff and he'll run down and make some plays. Quote, I think on the kickoff return, I can put him on the front like Gifford and single him up with one of their best guys. I think he'll be an outstanding punt and protection. He'll be outstanding on punt and protection and coverage, and he'll be outstanding somewhere in punt return. So he's got a plan for Demo. You know, we hear about the plan for Demo defensively. He's got a plan for Demo for special teams. And I know a lot of people are talking about Eric Scott Jr. and Miles Brooks and potentially Jalen Brooks all doing special teams things and maybe kicking off CJ Goodwin off the team. Maybe kicking off Boss Man Fat off the team. But we tend to forget. Luke Gifford leaves a huge void on special teams. He was a really good special teams player for the Cowboys over the last couple seasons. Shouts out to my guy, Mauricio Rodriguez. He said that he played 77% of the snaps on special teams. Somebody's got to fill that void at linebacker. And Demo is kind of a tornado of sense, a Tasmanian devil type of guy. He's just all over the field, the athleticism, the enthusiasm. He feels like he could be a special team star. And that's exactly what it seems like Bone Fossil thinks as well. So we got a lot of time to figure out where he'll be on defense. But from day one, I do believe that he'll be a special teams demon for Bones Fossil. And maybe they'll do some fun things with him. Maybe he'll get a block punt. They'll rush him. He's got the speed. He's faster than Gifford. He's more athletic than Gifford. It's going to be about timing. But when it comes down to going down and making plays and hitting opponents, look, CJ Goodwin, Boss Man Fat, they got the speed, right? They're gunners. They're going to be out there trying to get down there first. But boy, if Demo meets you when you catch the punt, it ain't going to feel good. It's a whole different type of guy hitting you than Boss Man Fat and CJ Goodwin. So let's see where they'll line up Demo all over on special teams. Pick up the undrafted free agent spotlight today with Darrell Johnson. So, and before I get there, let's just kind of give a background on Darrell Johnson. 6'3", 251 pounds. He's a 6-year senior because he went to JUCO. He went the JUCO route, started there, then he went to Liberty in 2020 where he put together an impressive resume. Second team All-American in 2022, and he led all of college football last year in tackles for loss with 27.5 tackles for loss. So dude is active, very active player. I know Isaiah Land is the most popular undrafted free agent, probably the Cowboys signed with Hunter Lipke. Definitely the most popular guy on the defensive side of the ball. A handful of analysts believe he should have been drafted. But I don't think Darrell Johnson is far behind. No, sir, I do not, man. This is an impressive looking kid as a pass rusher. He tested pretty solid, ran a 4.6 in the 40, 10.4 in the broad jump. You can see some of those athletic traits. You can see some of that closing speed. He feels long. He's got 34 inch long arms. Yeah, I thought they were shorter than that actually, but they're actually longer. And he plays that way. And he just feels like a natural pass rusher. Same thing with Isaiah Land, speaking of the defensive end guys or edge guys. But this guy's heavier. He's 250. He got like 30 pounds on Isaiah Land almost, right? Or 20 pounds, I'm sorry, over Isaiah Land. And he just feels like a guy that can find his way on this team, man. I know it's tough, though. It's going to be tough for the Lands and the Johnson, the Darrell Johnsons of the world to make this team because of the depth at that position. But impressive film, impressive tape, fun guy. I don't want to fall for this again, though. We did this with the Bradley and Nyes, right? So obviously he has to go out there and prove it, but he just feels traitsy. Same thing with Isaiah Land, a traitsy guy that if Dan Quinn and Aiden Durde get their hands on, look out, look out. And we are looking for future edge guys. That room is going to get sliced in half next year. A couple dudes may be on their way out. Other guys are getting a little older. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have some of these dudes in the farm system. And Johnson feels more edge than Land. That's why they're trying Land at, linebacker a little bit here because he's lighter a bit. But I think Land is the better player, the better rusher. But I'm intrigued with Johnson's traits. I'm intrigued with his length. And I love his first step. It feels like he has a well-developed first step is what I'm going to say. Here's what Dane Brugler had to say about Darrell Johnson. He says, overall, Johnson is overly reliant on his first step as a rusher and needs to continue to get stronger, but he has developmental traits in a 3-4 scheme with closing bursts for a superpower. And that's what seems to be the theme of these kind of smaller-ish guys. The power is not going to be there, but you're more so looking for the pass rush. But they're going to have to develop some sense of power against the run because that's where they'll get washed out. But, man, I feel like every time we do one of these UDFA spotlights, these players are intriguing. They're fun. A lot of these guys are not going to make the team. A lot of them are going to play a bunch in preseason, though. But a lot are not going to make the team. You'll get about what, y'all? 2 or 3 that make it every year for the Cowboys? It's going to be a dog fight for it. When we get to talking about training camp battles, we almost got to ignore the bottom roster, 6th round pick fighting for the last spot. Let's talk about the battles that's going to take place for damn practice squad. The practice squad battle is going to be nuts. And there are some of these guys going to make it through. Look, we'll see. A lot of the times every year somebody says he won't make it through. They make it through and they make their way back to the Cowboys. But this is going to be a fun training camp, and I can't wait for it, man. Can't wait for it. Yeah, I agree with you, Peasy. There's not a lot of open roster spots. And that's the testament to how they put this team together over the last couple seasons and what they did in the offseason by retaining guys like Dono, by signing or trading for guys like Cooks and Gilmore. And honestly, give kudos and credit and flowers to the players themselves, the young guys themselves, raising their expectations or meeting their expectations so that we can have this discussion of, man, this roster got a lot of young talent. You got a lot of good talent. And let's see where these other guys can fit in. So salute to them. All right. Now, y'all calling in a little bit early today, but let me at least get to the first block of our show. And that's about raising expectations through some of these veterans and some of these younger guys. I get it. The rookies right now, flavor of the month. You just had rookie minicamp. They won't meet the veterans till next week. The draft just concluded 2 weeks ago. All the rave is about the rookies. Totally get it. But I don't think the Cowboys are going to get where they want to get to without these veterans. It'll have to be on the backs of these veterans or some of these second or third year players, 100%. And when we did this last year, the one guy that stuck out that I thought raised his ceiling a bit heading into, and then obviously the contract too, was Dorrance Armstrong. Dorrance had a 6-sack season, got the contract 2 years, something like $12 million. And his expectations, hey man, cool little 6 sacks, but we're going to need a little bit more from you now because you're the starter. You got the little contract, and he started to meet those expectations. Some would say exceeded them with the 8 sacks. If you look at the back half, it got a little weird, but He was one of the guys we talked about last offseason when we did this. I got 4 new guys that I think have risen their expectations. And the first one I want to begin with is Donovan Wilson, a.k.a. the Hitman. For the first time in his career, he started all 17 games, or previously, before it was 17, it was 16 games. But for the first time, he was a 17-game starter. And he was a guy that, because of his playing style, I worried that he would even be able to make it through a season, because he would get dinged up throughout his career. He got dinged up in 2021. I thought that would have been his breakout season then, because 2020 was his breakout season. So I thought he would surpass that. Well, it took him an extra year. Damn it, he surpassed that. Had 101 tackles, 77 solo, 37 stops, 7 tackles for loss, 9 quarterback hits, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. He is a weapon. I wish we didn't have a Weapon X, because I would love to give him that nickname. But as much as I hate that franchise, I respect Brian Dawkins way too much. One of the greatest safeties of all time. I hate Philly, man, but he was I played the position. I love the position. He was one of my favorite safeties to watch. But that's who he reminds me of. It's really hard for me not to think this is Weapon X 2.0. For those who may not know who Weapon X is, Brian Dawkins, just go watch his highlights. Go watch his highlights, come back, and I think you see a Donovan Wilson or Brian Dawkins in a Donovan Wilson. Brian Dawkins might have been one of the best blitzing safeties, hard hitters, move them around all over the field. Now, where they differ is in leadership. Brian Dawkins was a massive leader, one of the best leaders in the league. But the Hitman plays like that. He actually led all safeties in the league in sacks, stops, and pressures. I didn't even know that until I was putting together the show. I knew he was balling. And I wonder if he went in there. When I say in there, I'm talking about with contract negotiations, talking to Steve and Jones and them boys, because all the word coming out of the season was, hey, man, Donovan Wilson wants a little bit more than we're willing to pay. Donovan and his representatives, oh, okay, cool. No problem. We'll wait. Get closer to free agency. We really want to retain Donovan Wilson. We just got to figure out the contract. Oh, one from now we good to we really, really want him. I bet you they went in there and was like, hey, man, look, my guy led the league and boom, boom, boom. He's done this for you when he's been healthy. He's been your most productive safety you've had since Darren Woodson. And that's facts, by the way, if you want to go back and look at that. When Donovan Wilson has been a full-time player, 2020 and 2022, 2021, he was kind of dinged up in and out. He has been extremely productive, kind of under the radar type of productive. And with the Cowboys deploying 3 safeties at a time, you're talking about a guy that essentially is relied on just as much as a starter, and hence why he is a starter, 17 games. 400 snaps in the box, 350 snaps at free safety. Impressive. Makes sense why he would get a 3-year, $21 million contract. Deserved it. Absolutely deserved it, man. So Donovan Wilson has new expectations because of the contract, new expectations because of his play. So my question to you, will he meet those expectations? Will he exceed them, or will he fail? I know that's pretty harsh to say, but when you play the way you play, when you get paid the money, your ceiling rises. You've broken that wall. I think Donovan Wilson will 100% meet these expectations. Exceeding them would be amazing, but I think he will 100% meet those expectations. What do you guys think, Cowboys Nation? Exceed, we got a, okay, there we go. I'm about to say, we got a clean sweep on Exceed. I don't think anybody thinks he's not going to meet him. I don't think he's not going to meet him. Everyone here is pretty much Exceed or meet at the very least. That the floor is meeting them. That's the damn floor. But if he stays healthy, man, I think Kid's going to be a 90 tackle, pass rushing weapon. And now he got the bag. He can kind of play with that I'm him type of mentality. I don't think this is a guy that's going to get the bag and then tail off. I mean, look how, to me, that's a free safety type of play right there. Man, this dude's a beast. Probably one of the best defensive players that does not get talked about enough throughout the league at a position that doesn't get a whole lot of fanfare anymore. Safety kind of goes by the wayside, and I think Donovan Wilson's one of the better ones in the league. Flat out. So exceed, meet, or fail. A lot of you guys are exceed and meet. Yep, I 100% agree. And he's going to be one of those dudes that if we want to get to where we want to get to, it's going to be because of guys like Donovan Wilson. By the way, that is the largest contract to a safety since Ken Hamlin. I went back and looked at Barry Church's contract. Went back and looked at, y'all call him the GOAT, and it's slipping my mind. His name is slipping my mind. But I went back and looked at, obviously, Malik Hooker's contract, Jaron Kearse's contract. None of these guys got that type of deal, which in the grand scheme of things, when you go look around the league, 3 years, $21 million is not crazy. But the Cowboys don't pay that position, which is why I was nervous that he would even get the contract that he wanted. I thought he was going to get more of what they paid Malik Hooker, what they paid Jaron, or they were going to approach him with that. 2 years, $4 million type of situation. Nah, he got 3 years, $21 million, and a nice little guarantee. He got more guaranteed, I think, than they got in their contract, somewhere around there. It might have been similar than they got from an annual average. So he's the guy. He's 100% the guy at safety now moving forward. Very early, but I don't think Jaron, I hate to say this, man. I don't think Jaron's going to be here next year, y'all. I don't think Jaron's going to be here next year, but man, it's so early. Things can change, but it just kind of feels that way. So a lot of you guys think he will meet and exceed them, or meet or exceed them. I agree. Let's see what our guy Los has to say about it. Good morning, Los.
Good morning, Sky, man. Hey, I know I've been MIA, but I hope you're having a great morning. I know I sure am. And hey, real quick, let me say this, Sky. I know it's hard being loyal fans to, in general, to some teams, especially this team, the Cowboys, heartbreak after heartbreak. But, there's some teams out there, when you follow them and they go to where you wanted them to go, you can live up to that high, and I'm still off of it, And shout out to the Dallas Stars, man. I mean, hey, they're back in the Western Conference. They're back in the Western Conference Finals in the last 4 years, and that's something that the Cowboys haven't even, done in 25-something years. So I mean, hey,
we got to be next though, right? Look, you got the Mavs, 2011. Now the Stars. I don't know what the Rangers. I don't know what their history. Didn't the Rangers go to the World Series not so long ago?
Interesting fact. Texas Rangers are the only major baseball team that hasn't won a World Series. So,
but did they go some years ago? I'm not sure.
They went twice. They went twice in a row, and we lost twice in a row.
So Dallas is next, man. The Cowboys got to be next, man.
Hey, exactly, Sky, exactly. And Sky, let me tell you, if we go in the Super Bowl, I tell you what, Sky, we better not just go up to show up and and this is just future time. We just show up and not like whatever. We in there to win it, because damn sure nothing's granted. But man, if we were to win that Super Bowl, Sky, shit, it's a parade inside of my city. That's all I'm gonna say. But let me tell you real quick, Scott. The only three players that I can feel like this year and it's so cliche just saying these three names, and I'll tell you why. That I feel if the Dallas Cowboys are going to do anything, it's going to be these three, and it's going to be Dak, CD, and Micah. And the reason I say these names is because Dak, in all honesty, I feel like he has the capability to lead this offense with, majority of the weapons. But if he cannot do any uncharacteristic turnovers, if there's a chance to take an NFC, you better not miss that opportunity. And with CD, I mean, we know he's a wide receiver one. I just want more of him. Like, make that money, like make that field pay and make that money talk. I want to see him be. I mean, this is just saying a lot, but Justin Jefferson numbers. But he's more than capable of it. And Micah, I mean, if he's able to be himself and there's nothing else he wants it to be, like he tells himself that he wants to be the greatest, if he makes it easier for the linemen and the corners just to play their game, especially now that Trayvon and Gilmore has that side locked up and we can just rush, I mean, we got this season in the bag. The NFC's wide open, Sky. And if those, Sky, I don't know who scares us the most, but I mean, I'm not going to be scared of them. But I do give respect to the Eagles and that front office. But I mean, if we can beat them twice in any year, shit, we got them. And I ain't scared of Philly, but I do give respect for what they did in the organization. But I ain't scared, and that's the only team that we should at least be on a reach out for. But that's it. You have a great morning, Sky, and peace out.
All right, Los, appreciate you, man. My man Los said, we're going to do anything this year. Is going Dak, CD, and Micah. Yeah, man. Our three of our best players. We're going to need them to play well. 100%, Los. 484, what it do? Okay. We're going to do anything this year. You got to turn your house down, 484.
Oh. Hey, Sky, what's up, bro?
What's going on?
Take it here again. But yeah, this is Mike, man. I'm from Philly, but I'm a Cowboys fan.
Well, I'm sorry, sir, that you gotta be in the heart of the line. Not the line. We got the line. In the line's den, I guess is what they say. Yeah.
Well, actually, I live in Dallas now, but
okay.
I was born and raised in Philly. Yeah.
Kind of like me. I was in PA, right outside of Philly. Now I'm in Dallas, so we kind of the same, man.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Now, what I was calling you about, man, do you believe that history can repeat itself?
That's a saying. It's a cliche, sure. But what are you getting at?
All right.
Yeah. Okay. I hope it doesn't. First of all, I hope it doesn't.
Wait, but let me explain to you, though. 1991 was the last time we drafted a defensive tackle, Russell Merlin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, round one. Now, in the same draft, the Cowboys drafted a tackle from Central State, Eric Williams. Remember him?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. And he's from Philly. Now, this year, we drafted Amazi. He was a tackle. And then we drafted Hassan Richards, born and raised in Philly. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, and the stars were aligned, and the moon was a full moon when it happened. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So. Okay,
yeah, and after that, it's history. After that, we went to should have been 4 Super Bowls, but Aaron Williams got hurt. But yeah, that's all I was calling about, man. And, I try to listen to you guys every morning. I check out all the laws, landlord. I try to catch all you guys. But I stopped listening to ESPN and all them guys. I started listening to them guys. Because I'm tired of hearing people bad, killing our Cowboys. So I don't want to listen to positive stuff. You know what I mean?
Or at least real stuff, like ESPN, they give you the low hanging fruit. That's easy. But they're not about to talk about the Donovan Wilsons. They're not about to talk about the 3rd round picks. They're not about to talk about the backups and things like that. Those are important.
Right.
These type of things are important for any team to win a championship. But I get it. Networks want to get clicks and things like that, and it just bored me, which is why, I think you see where the community is at now.
Right. Exactly. Now, I enjoy you guys, man. Yeah, keep up the good work, bro.
Thank you, man.
Talk to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. All right, folks.
Yeah. I mean, that's one way to look at the history, for sure. But when he said the history repeating itself, and I'm like, I don't want it to. Cowboys are on a historically terrible streak right now. Not getting to the NFC Championship game, but that's one way to look at it. There's a guy named RJ Ochoa, if you're on Twitter. He does things like this. He goes even further than that. He goes, Taylor Swift dropped an album this time, and then Mike McCarthy did this and all that. Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. He does stuff like that. This is kind of like that, but not necessarily the same. So look, man. I think it's not going to take these kind of random things for the Cowboys to win. I think it's going to take tangible things, and one of those tangible things is Jonathan Hankins. He's another guy that raised his expectations when he arrived here. Now, here's the thing about Hank. There's two controversial, if you want to use that one, two controversial players that I put on this list here. And one of them I think is Hank, because Jonathan Hankins will be 31 if he's not already. I think he might already be 31. So asking him to be a different person or be better, I think it's tricky because he is what he is. But the reason why I included Jonathan Hankins is because he only played 7 games for the Cowboys when you include the postseason. In those 7 games, 15 tackles, 11 solo, 11 stops, and a sack. And I wanted to include him because maybe he didn't raise the expectation for himself, but he damn sure raised the expectation for the run defense. On first and second down, the Cowboys, and this is from Nate Tice, their rush defense success rate is 74%, or was 74%, with Hankins on the field. The league leading run defense, we had this statistic the other day. The league leading run defense rate was 73%. Let that register in your head for a quick second. The Cowboys with Hankins on the field, 74% rush defense success rate. And now they get Mozzie. Ooh-wee. And he needs that help because Jonathan Hankins cannot do it all himself. He's getting up there in age. I hate to put the injury thing on him, but that was a freak incident against Houston. And if you look at that play, I mean, dude he's a freak himself. He was being kind of held, in my opinion, I think dragged down, and he reached his arm out. And Dameon Pierce is not easy to get down. This is a physical runner. And with one hand, pretty much stops Dameon Pierce, I believe, on 4th down. Either 4th down or 3rd down. I believe he stopped Dameon Pierce from getting the 1st down. And that's where he tore, I think, his pec or something like that, y'all. Bicep or something. He did something to his arm. So that was kind of a bit of a freaking situation. But he is 31. These nicks may happen, so he needed a little bit of help. But Big Hank, when he came back, he came to play in those playoffs, man. He showed you why he was so damn important and why a big dude, 6'3", 340-pound guy is important to have on this team. And I think Hankins, I don't want to use the term single-handedly, but is a huge factor in why the Cowboys drafted Mozzie Smith. They saw how important Jonathan Hankins was when he was on that field to their rush defense. We often talk about if you want to be one of the greats, one of them ones, most of those defenses are great against the run. Even in the passing league, if you can make these guys one-dimensional, you got a leg up, especially when you got a Micah Parsons, a D. Law, a Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong, Sam Williams. Especially when you got a lot of defensive ends and edge rushers you can throw at him. Osa from the interior. Maybe Mozzie turns into, a pass rush type guy. But between his play and just kind of his level of importance that he showed us when he was there, Jonathan Hankins, to me, raised his level of expectation. And our guy, Professor O, gave us this fantastic stat when he went out. This was the beginning not the beginning. This was prior to the playoffs. I'm sure that number might have went down in the playoffs. But when he was on the field, they only allowed 3.6 yards per carry. Fact check this here, but I'm pretty sure that's a top 5. If they were to hold that throughout a season, 3.6. When he was out, 4.5. So we cannot look over his importance. We cannot look over how good he was for the Cowboys. Hence why they went out and traded a 6th-round pick for him. So I get it. He's not going to be a different player because he's not young. He's a 31-year-old veteran. But because of his play, because how important he was for the Cowboys, I am going to put a little bit more expectation on Big Hank. I need Big Hank to be there for the Cowboys from day one to the end of the season. And I need Big Hank to help with this run defense. So will Jonathan Hankins meet, exceed, or fail in his new expectation? And that expectation, I think, is to help the Cowboys become one of the best run defenses in the league. Because he showed when he's on the field, they can be a top 10 run defense. When he's off the field, they're not. Meet, exceed, or fail. I'm going to go with meet. I think as long as Hankins is not hurt, I think he will meet expectations, man. And I think, honestly, this Mozzie Smith pick helps. Mozzie Smith is going to help keep him fresh. Jonathan Hankins played an average of 26 snaps, which I think is a lot for a guy of his size. And there were many games with the Raiders, many games with Dallas where, well, I shouldn't say many, only played 7, but games with Dallas and the Raiders where he played 30, 35 snaps. And I'm like, man, that's a lot of snaps for 340 pounds. He's not going to have to do that. Not out of necessity, not with Dallas. I think Mozzie is going to help be able to keep him fresh as possible. And I don't mean to backtrack back to the rookies here, but I mean, what better guy for Mozzie Smith to learn from? What better guy? I bring this up often, and I would love to talk to a coach about this too, because I think this is a real thing. You can be big. You can be Bohanna, for instance. You can be what's the cat that went to Washington? Big Country, right? You could be these type of guys that are good run guys in college, but the know-how to do it in the pros, it takes some time. Not many 6th-round, 5th-round guys are going to come into this league and be dominant run defenders right away or be good run defenders right away. That's why you don't see a lot of those guys get drafted high. That's why guys like Mozzie, when they come around, who are elite run defenders with elite athleticism, those guys get grabbed right now. Doesn't matter if y'all view them as a one or first and second down type player. You don't see those dudes fall past the 2nd and 3rd round often. They're getting snatched up. And Hankins knows how to defend the run. What better guy for Mozzie to learn from? Where I think Mozzie knows how as well, but this is the pros, right? Things are going to get a little difficult once you get to that next level. But I'm excited for that tandem, man. And look, I know Hankins and Mozzie probably won't be on the field a ton, but I would not rule out Hankins and Mozzie in a Kevin and Pat Williams type of dynamic duo situation, especially early in games, especially against teams like the Niners, teams like the Eagles. Did Philly even see Hank? So that's a question. Did Philly even see Hank? I know they didn't see him in week 6 or whatever the Cowboys played him early in the season. I know that for a fact. And then the Cowboys played, they won that shootout, but the Cowboys played Minshew later on. Well, I don't think Hankins was on the field. Nope. Okay. Yeah, so they have no idea what they're about to get here in regards to Jonathan Hankins and Mozzie Smith together. San Fran saw it. San Fran saw and felt the difference with Jonathan Hankins on that field. The Niners did not run the ball well against the Cowboys. They didn't. They had a small series of success at the end of the game. Small. But they held McCaffrey, they held Mitchell, and they held Debo under 4 yards per carry. One man, Jonathan Hankins. Now you get 2 of those types. I'm telling you, man. I think he will 100%. Shoot, I'm borderline ready to say exceed, but I'll just go with me. I think he'll meet the expectations. I think he will help the Cowboys be one of the best run defenses as long as he's on the field. Off the field's a different story. It is, Sam. Let's get back to here. What y'all saying? Anybody disagree with him exceeding or meeting the expectations? I'm gonna go with meet. I ain't gonna go too crazy. I think he will meet the expectations. Exceeding it would be, again, I'm gonna go back to Pat Williams and Pat and Kevin Williams. If you go back and look at that run with Minnesota, man, under, I forget who the coach was actually at that time. But if you go look at that run, they had the number 1 or 2 rush defense from yards, touchdowns, attempts, yards per carry, whatever the hell you want to call it, for like 3 or 4 years running. It was ridiculous. So that would be exceeding me. If the Cowboys come out next year, they're number 1 in run defense, number 1 in yards per carry, number 1 in rush touchdowns, that's exceeding it to me. I got 2 more. We're gonna flip it now. We did 2 defenders. We're gonna do 2 offensive players, and one of those offensive players is a bit controversial. But before we do that, let's get the 931 on the horn. What's good, 931?
Hey, what's going on, Scott? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
And so I was wondering because, like, I've heard you and Vach talk about, like, Mozzie and Hankins, but it kind of feels like y'all kind of, like, fell off of how you felt about Bohanna because he wasn't doing like he was supposed to do. But, like, from what I saw earlier in the season before he got hurt, he was doing pretty well in the run game and whatnot, and we already knew that he was only, like, a 2-down type of person. Yeah. And he was going to be more or less a role player, but he was going to be like that big plug type of person. So I was wondering how you actually feel about Bo heading into year 3.
I just don't think he's better than Hankins or Mozzie. So unfortunately for Bo, if they don't carry 3 guys of his stature, he's fighting for his life. You know, last year Bo impressed in preseason and training camp to where he got Neville Gallimore benched. But we talked about this with Pat Walker. Last year, you started off the season with Neville Gallimore benched, Bohanna as your starter. This year, you're starting off the season with Mozzie Smith, Jonathan Hankins, and if they do decide to carry Bo as a rotational guy. It's much better. There's more competition in there. So, you know, I don't know if that's fortunate or unfortunate for Bo. It all depends on if they decide to carry 3. I don't know if they will. So he's got to fight for his life, man. It is what it is. He's a 6th-round pick that's supposed to be a run guy. And he's not, Reader. He's not the other cat from Alabama. He's not none of these guys. So he's going to have a almost nuclear camp probably to make this team, which I'm cool with that. It's a 6th-round pick, man. I didn't expect Bohanna to come in here and be all world. I actually didn't even expect him to be a starter last year. When he beat out Neville Gallimore, I was surprised. I was good for him, not for Neville, but yeah.
I kind of feel like he was doing well enough to retain that position until he got hurt, and then he kind of like got superseded. It's one of those things where that injury kind of just like pushes everything off the rails type of thing. Because he missed 5 games.
Sure.
I believe
he also got a healthy scratch, I think, as well. But look, last year, if the room looked like it looked now, I mean, we'd be talking about Bohanna a lot. It's not the case no more. So look, man, Bohanna played well. He did. He played well the first couple weeks of the season, but we got a Mozzie. We got a Jonathan Hankins. You know, Bohanna is at best a rotational player in that, and I don't know if he'll make the team. I mean, we got to see. We got to get the camp, get the preseason. Maybe he makes a last-minute stand like Tristan Hill did. Tristan Hill was kind of in a similar situation. They kept drafting guys and signing guys and changing positions for guys at his position, and Tristan was fighting for his life. Went out there, fought well, and made the team. So that's where Bo's at. I think Bo's got to fight, man.
I honestly believe that he'll get on the squad, but
we'll see.
I think it's kind of like
it's a deep room, man.
I think it's like a 50-50 sort of thing to me personally.
It's a deep room.
I don't know.
I don't know. Last time they carried 3 1-techs on the roster, so. You know, he'll have to go nuclear to where they're going deeper there to push off a defensive end, push off a linebacker or a corner or a receiver. Like he'll have to go hard, man. He got an uphill battle, that's for sure.
Yeah. Last thing I wanted to ask about was because I know I've always been a fan of this individual, but he never
got a chance to actually show what he could do, other than, putting him on special teams. That was his thing.
Who's that?
Turpin, if he got a chance, because you saw him last year in camp, you could see what he could do. You could see him whenever he's like running routes and stuff. But whenever it came to the actual season, they used him on gadget plays, only on gadget plays, and he was the main special teams returner. Do you think that Dallas will actually give him an ample opportunity, or do you think that they're just saying, we have Deuce now, so what you can do is what he can do, but we'll give you an opportunity, sort of thing?
I think he'll have to create his opportunity. I think he'll have to kind of Dennis Houston this thing. Meaning, Dennis just did all the right things, was in the right spot, and he kept getting those opportunities because he wasn't fumbling those opportunities. This year, Turpin you got a top 3 healthy receiving group. They're not going to feature Turpin, right? So whenever he gets those chances of one-on-ones down in the red zone, or he gets those chances with Dak Prescott out there, he's got to take advantage of it, man. Because dudes like Moreno Cropper, dudes like Deuce Vaughn, these guys are coming for his spot. And these guys are legitimate receiving threats, one out the backfield and one as a receiver in general. So, I don't know if he'll get a shot from hey, we want to feature Turpin today. But whenever they decide to throw it to him or give him a reverse or something, he better go hard, because Turpin is another dude who's, I think, fighting for his life. I don't give a damn about the return and being a Pro Bowler. He didn't score a damn touchdown. So it's not like if he's not on this team, you missing out on special teams touchdowns. They got guys that return as well. So he's another dude fighting for his life, man.
Yeah, I think that Turpin has the talent to actually succeed in this organization, but I think that he also has a lot of things stacked up against him. But I'd love to see him make the team and have like some sort of package where it's a speed package, and you can have Turpin and Deuce, and you can have this thing where you have to actually play the matchup game, for the backers and whatnot. But that's like an ideal thing for me.
If they didn't bring in a Brandon Cooks, I could see where, hey man, you need to package this, package that. But Brandon Cooks gives you like legitimate speed, man. Like he gives you legitimate 4.3 some speed that the Cowboys haven't had, where you can do all wide receiver things with him. With Turpin, you can't do all wide receiver. He's just not built like that. But it'll have to be, like you said, a package. And so Turpin's going to have to be really good on special teams, or really good with that damn package, because now I'm carrying a guy who's not going to do special teams thing. He's not going to get handoffs in the backfield on a consistent basis. He's not going to catch out the backfield like a running back. He's not going to do a lot of wide receiver things unless I come in and do some, razzle-dazzle specialty package for him. So that's why I think he's going to have to show up whenever his name gets called in practices and camp.
Yeah, I feel like he could excel, like if you actually allow him to like run like drag routes, like be a Cole Beasley and Edelman type of player, like where he gets the ball in hands and get the ball in space. But
so can Brandon Cooks.
Seen him really run routes.
That's a problem.
It's always been like reverse handoffs and stuff.
But so can Brandon Cooks, and Brandon Cooks can run the whole route tree, and he's extremely better than Turpin. So when Turpin comes on the field, if he can't provide more than one thing, I know that's all he's going to do. You know what I'm saying? Where Brandon Cooks can do all that, and he can do the entire route tree. So now you kind of got to be on your heels a little bit more. So that's why I'm saying he's going to have to prove that he can be an asset to this team in one way or another. If it's offense, fine. If it's special teams, fine. But he's going to have to be a baller at one of them, because I personally don't think right now Kevontae Turpin is going to be anything in this offense. I just don't. Until we get out to camp and maybe they do some things, but I can't see it, because Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Tony Pollard, those tight ends, that's going to be offense.
Yeah, I hope that Gallup returns to the form that we know that he can be in. So like I'm looking forward to this season and seeing how everything turns out. I'm highly optimistic about this thing. Like honestly, I think that we've got so much talent that's a good thing to have this conversation of like, who do you think can actually or who do you think will make the team? You know, who's the best suited for the team? Because a lot of teams don't have that. It's more or less of like, who can actually get us to where we need to be? But I think that all of pretty much this entire roster is filled with players that can get us to where we need to be. And so, like, as a Cowboy fan, I'm happy as hell to actually have this available to us. So I appreciate the time. As much as I can, I always watch you and watch content and whatnot. A lot of times I'll try to call in, but it either may be too late or, right at the cusp of whenever y'all are on cutoff. So yeah. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate all the content that y'all put out, fam.
Thanks, man. Good call.
Yep.
Who can help us be where we want to be? That's kind of what today's show is about. Right? Who raised their expectations to help us get to where we want to get to? Because we're going to be relying on these guys. And as we switch over to the other side of the ball, one of those guys is Tyler Biadasz. My bad. Tyler Badass. Nah, my bad. Pro Bowl Tyler Biadasz. Oh, yeah. He definitely has risen his expectations. Nah, I get it. Pro Bowl. We can have some fun with it. But he went to the Pro Bowl. When he goes to that negotiation table, I'm talking Pro Bowl. I don't give a damn what y'all talking about. But y'all know the stat that I love for Tyler Biadasz. Now, centers don't often give up a ton of sacks, but to go 2 seasons and some change without allowing a sack is impressive. That is very, very impressive for a guy who kind of was on a hot seat a little bit coming into last season. Now, for those that have been around, we did a midseason award show, and Tyler Biadasz won our most improved award at midseason. And we talked about the, not being credited for a sack. Then that continued. And then I think you saw in his absence, very short absence, his importance at the center position. Another very underrated thing that we really didn't pay attention to was his penalties. In 2021, he had 11 penalties. We talked about Connor Williams a lot, but Tyler Biadasz was extremely penalized that same season. He cut that down to 5 in 2022. So he cuts his penalties in half, more than that. He still is not allowed a sack. Is he a grinder, a mauler type? No, but I do like how he gets to the second level. I do like how he operates in open space. Tyler Biadasz has developed into a very solid center, a center that you can depend on. And at this point, maybe, not even maybe, one of your most important, we talk about guys like Zach. Zach is, come on, it's Zach, right? We know. Zach is kind of out there. We don't even need to talk about him. Tyler Smith, linchpin. We talk about that. Biadasz might be your most underrated, important player on that offense. Zach is Zach. Dak is Dak. We get that. But Tyler Biadasz as that solid center, that kind of the guy that's going to control the middle and control the cause. Who is that guy if it goes down? Last year was McGovern. He had experience playing center. This year, we don't have many players that have that experience in the NFL playing center. So Tyler Biadasz, Pro Bowl, you can argue that's another reason why his expectations have risen. But no, I just think his play. I think he's been a solid guy for the Cowboys. Obviously, the sack stat, the penalties have went down. The importance that he is for this offense. I think it's fair to put more expectation on Biadasz, especially coming into a contract year. I think it's fair. So will Tyler Biadasz, buy it as, will he meet, exceed, or fail to live up to those expectations? I think the word fail might be too hard. I think that might be too rough. But anyway, meet, exceed, or fail those expectations. I don't think he will. I don't think Tyler Biadasz will just turn into an all-pro Bowl or all-pro center. So I don't see that. man, that's he's being a Pro Bowler. Can he play like a Pro Bowler? It's two different things to say, hey, I went to the Pro Bowl. I mean, Huntley went to the Pro Bowl. It's another thing to be like, yo, this is a Pro Bowl player. That's kind of his expectation now, right? I done talked up Tyler Biadasz. Now I'm talking myself out of it. And here's the only reason why. I really like Tyler Biadasz. Can he form into a real life Pro Bowl center? I'm struggling with that one. But I'm gonna still say meat. I'm gonna still say meat. I think, another year, obviously, next to the GOAT, Zach. If Tyler Smith is playing next to him, I think that's an upgrade. And just being around, just being better. He got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I realized that when I was down there in California. Tyler Biadasz got a bit of a chip, man. I think he'll meet expectations. TBD, says Gene. That's fair. That's fair. A lot of people exceed. See, I can't go. I don't see Tyler Biadasz as an all pro type center. It's hard to go from Pro Bowl to all pro. I'm gonna give him some room here. I'm gonna say he'll meet. King Element said if he sticks around long enough, he's probably one of those guys who consistently makes the Pro Bowl off being a known name. A couple years ago, he was leading the NFC, I think, in Pro Bowl votes, and then he got washed out at when they first opened up. Cowboy fans, you know how to go. Then he got washed out and didn't make it. I don't know. I don't think Tyler Biadasz is a name yet. In Cowboys land, he is. I just don't think he's a name yet. I think Andre Garrard turned into a name because he played like a Pro Bowl center for a number of seasons, and then he started making it. Same thing, probably you could argue with a Leonard Davis. He had a couple real Pro Bowl, years, and he was a name around the league, former top 10 pick or what have you. And he started making it because he was, Cowboy in his name. I don't know if Biadasz is there yet. I don't know if he's there yet. Even if he stick around, like he would have to legitimately probably make an all-pro, second team all-pro type of situation. He could play for another 7 years. If he don't play like that, I don't think he'll become a name in the league. All right, the Pro Bowl thing, I wasn't going to say this, but it wasn't like he got voted in to be a Pro Bowl. He was kind of like that. What do they call it? The reserves. He was a second reserve or whatever. Somebody got hurt. Somebody didn't want to go. Hey, Tyler, you want to come to the Pro Bowl? But look, he's still Pro Bowl Tyler Biadasz, nonetheless. But if he plays like an Andre Garrard, if he plays like a Leonard Davis, who was the other one? Flo went to the Pro Bowl off a name. After a while, he wasn't a Pro Bowl player. Alternate, that's what they call him. They call him the Pro Bowl alternates. If he plays like Flo, if he plays like Garrard, if he plays like Davis, the conversation changed. I just don't think he's ever been there. Now, this last one is a little controversial. This is a young player. He already had a ton of expectations just given where he was selected. So raising those expectations this early is a lot of pressure on this young man. It's Tyler Smith. And I felt like I needed to include him because, again, of his importance to this line, but also because of his play. If you look at the numbers, you might come away alarmed. He had a lot of penalties. He gave up his fair share of sacks, fair share of pressures. But then when you provide context, you realize, for what he was thrown at, for what he was given, I think he handled it extremely well. No joke. Tyler Smith did not get any significant snaps in practice and camps and whatever at left tackle. He didn't. He did not. It was all guard. They were really working him in at guard. They were trying to get him going at guard. Then boom, 2 weeks. Season's about to start. He has an ankle sprain. Hey, Tyler, you mind playing left tackle? 1,022 snaps at left tackle last year. Started all 17 games. Wasn't the cleanest, sure. Gave up a good number of sacks and a good number of pressures. However, Once we got to the postseason, it was only credited for 1 pressure, and he allowed 0 sacks. In fact, the last, I want to say 12 games, he only gave up 2 sacks. Now, in between, he had a couple rough ones. He had the Giants game was rough, and the Jaguars game was rough. But then when you add in the fact that he did some left guard things, looked good at left guard, and they call him left side. He's a left side player. I think Tyler Smith exceeded his expectations last year, which is why I think he broke through that ceiling. He broke through that wall. And that's why, I mean, I ask you guys, do you think he'll meet, exceed, or fail, his new expectations? I think he'll exceed them. He's the only one of these 4 that I'm stamping as exceeding. These other guys have had high profile years, Pro Bowl, right? Career type years in Dono. I don't think Hankins can be more than what he already is, and that's just because he's already been in this league forever. But Tyler's so young. Last year, I thought he did phenomenal for what he was asked to do. I think the ceiling will continue to move with this young man. I think he'll exceed whatever expectations you want to put on him this year. I don't give a damn what position he plays. Y'all could bicker and fight over left guard, left side. I don't care. He showed me that put me wherever, I'll bust my ass to be the best I can be at that position. And he's got the talent to do it. He's got the work ethic to do it. He's smart enough to do it. And now I think Mike Solari, I don't know, man. I just have this feeling about Mike Solari that will get the best out of a guy like Tyler Smith. Whether it be from a schematic standpoint, whether it be from a coaching standpoint, I just feel like Tyler Smith is going to, you want to talk about Pro Bowl play, you want to talk about name, King Element. I think Tyler Smith can make a name for himself in this league as one of those perennial Pro Bowl left tackles. I do. I think he has that type of talent. Or glory, whatever, wherever the hell you want to put him. I think he can be a perennial Pro Bowler. He has that talent to do it. So I think he will exceed his expectations. Meet, exceed, or fail his expectations. Many are exceed, meet, exceed. Yeah, I don't think anybody believes he will fail to meet his new expectations. Bobby said, come on, he was awesome as a... Bobby, are you listening? That's literally what I said. I quite literally said he exceeded his expectations as a rookie. For what they were asking him to do, man, he blew it out the park. He hit it out the park. Especially since he didn't play left tackle that much. In preseason, I should say. Ooh, I love exactly Sambino. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, let's get back to the phone lines and see what our perennial Pro Bowl caller DJ got to say. What's good, DJ?
Well, first of all, you done made my whole morning, Sky. I appreciate the Pro Bowler tag. I like that.
Of course, man. Look, you're working your way into all pro. All right, you're working your way into all pro. What's good, bro?
Hell yeah, I'll take it. But yeah, but no, totally agree. Tyler, be honest, we really haven't mentioned anything about him. But that expectation is there.
Yes.
So going back to Hankins, I've been real big on Hankins all off season. He kind of made this whole thing shake last year when he showed up with the run D and all that kind of stuff. So there's that. But it's a couple that you didn't mention. I think, raised expectations for Tony Pollard is a conversation that needs to be had.
Yes.
Because, this will be the first time that he doesn't have Zeke, so that can he still be that guy? I think he can, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. Same thing with Deron Bland. He kind of came in unexpectedly last year. Now he's going to be that guy behind cornerback 1 and cornerback 2. He's going to be that definitive slot guy, or wherever they want to line him up, he's going to be in the lineup. I think he's one that you want to think about a lot as well. And then, of course, Jake Ferguson, because with Dalton Schultz leaving, yes, we brought in Schoonmaker, but we all expect. I mean, I think he has the biggest gap between expectations from last year to expectations to this year coming up. I think his rose the most out of anybody out there.
Well, that will be a different variation of your expectations. This one is more about the play of the previous season. Jake just didn't get it. He only had like 19 targets, or 19 receptions and something like that. So he really didn't play enough, I don't think, to qualify for this. This was more so about who set a new set of expectations because of their play. And when you mentioned Tony Pollard, and the reason why I left off a lot of players, because I wanted to hear from you guys who else you thought. And Tony Pollard is a great one. I left off Tony Pollard on purpose because I wanted to know if anybody believed he is a guy that kind of broke through that wall to set a new level of expectations. And even if you don't believe he did it statistically, which he did, he definitely did it through that contract, through getting franchise tags. So Tony Pollard is definitely a good one.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is that he showed that he could be the guy when it came to the couple of games that he started last year. Now it's going to be, can he do it over the whole season? Which, again, I think he can, especially because we're going to be doing running back by committee and all that good stuff. But he has to still go out there and do it. And I think, especially, I think he's going to be the crux for the whole thing. And if Tony Pollard has a bad season, I see Dallas Cowboys having a bad season just because, or at least the offense having a bad season because everything's going to be flowing through the run game, and that's going to make everything shake. And with this change in philosophy and mindset, I don't know if, Ford will always be able to bail us out, but, Kellen Moore kind of let him have it, whereas we don't know what they're going to do so much with Mike McCarthy and Schottenheimer calling the shots.
I think you said if Tony has a bad season, we'll have a bad season. I think it'll be not because of Tony. If it's because of Tony, it'll be because he's not the same as injury, right? Like he's a considerably worse player, but I just think he's way too talented to have a quote unquote bad season. If he has a bad season, offensive line is probably not good. Our running game, our running scheme, whatever you want to call it, is probably not good. You could probably argue our play calling is probably not good, or he's not the same because of injury. But if this is a healthy dude, I mean, I, from what I've seen since he stepped into this league, every time that he's healthy, when you put the ball in Tony Pollard's hand 10 or more times, you are getting a quality season, game, year, whatever the hell you want to call it. You're getting quality out of that guy. So that makes me nervous when you say, hey, if he has a bad season, we're going to have a bad season. Yeah, but probably not because of Tony. Probably because of everything else that's happening around Tony.
Yeah, for sure, brother. I mean, and to clarify, I don't expect that to happen. Right. Make sure you heard me on that. I expect Tony to come out here and kill it. And I'm not necessarily talking to you, Scott. I'm just saying for everybody else.
Gotcha.
Not saying Tony's going to come out here and have a bad season. It's just going to be, I think his production and value, and maybe that's what it would be. It'd be deeper than that. Like if Tony's having a bad season, what's really going on? Yeah. But I think his success is going to speak volumes on the success of the team overall.
And DJ, before I let you go here, somebody brought up Cooks, the other Cooks, Dalvin Cooks. Would you look into that? Apparently, he's going to be released.
Bringing in Dalvin Cook?
Yeah.
I mean, how much money does he want? That's my first question.
That's true.
Now, if he wants to come in for $38, hell yeah. But like, come on, man. Let's do it. Bye, Rico. I'm sorry, Malik. We got this. But I mean, if he's wanting 10, 11, 12 million, then no, I'm out on that. But I mean, I would think about it for 3 or 4 million. For sure.
Bro, look, I think I'll be in on it too for five or less. I'll be in on Dalvin Cook. I mean, look, I keep going back to they paid Keanu Neal $5 million, y'all. Keanu Neal. I'm just saying. So if Dalvin Cook won $5 million or $4 million to come in for a year or whatever, we got the bread. We got the bread. And I know a lot of people scared of Rojo. Okay, if you're scared of Rojo, Dalvin Cook better. So, Tony Pollard, Dalvin Cook 1-2 punch would be, man, that'd be fun. You got little Deuce Vaughn out there doing some pass things and, mixing it up as a change of pace back.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm not a big fan of the whole, super team aspect like they do in basketball, like kind of how Philly did back in the year. But I am having a super room. You know what I mean? You brought in all these guys for this specific position. Then I'm cool with it, right? Like if you're bringing in 3 or 4 wide receivers that are gangsters and they're gangsters and they're proven, that means a lot more than trying to, fill up the whole roster like what the Giants did with their defense a few years back, or how much money the Patriots spent on free agency a couple years ago. Like that stuff never works. But if you want to fortify a room by bringing in a whole bunch of guys, and in this case it would be the running back room, by all means, do you.
Yeah, and Dallas hasn't dropped the bag on an outside free agent this summer just yet. And I know $5 million ain't a crazy bag, but it's more than what they've paid, any outside free agent probably since Keanu Neal a couple years ago. So,
yep,
am I mistaken, right? Yeah,
for sure.
So, man, look, man, I look into it. I just wanted to ask you that. We were talking about running backs. I saw his name pop up in there.
Yeah. Other than that, man, I'll let you go. Get it going. I know you were running up on time, but I appreciate you letting me come in, and I'll try to live up to that Pro Bowl tag.
All right, big. Appreciate you, DJ. Salute. That's how I'm about to categorize y'all. Y'all, Pro Bowlers, All Pros, rookies, and We're gonna do Madden scale, right? Rookies, Pro, All Madden, all that stuff. I don't know. I randomly looked over it, and I don't know who it was. Somebody asked, would I want Nick Bosa or CeeDee Lamb? Why is that? Is something up? Is like Nick Bosa like randomly requesting a trade or something? But that question, I got Micah Parsons. I lose CeeDee Lamb, my wide receiver room goes back to being an issue. I got enough pass rush. My defensive line set to go. I mean, I got Micah Parsons. I'll build around Micah Parsons. Yes, will it be fun to have Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa? Sure. But I'm trying to put together a balanced team. I'll become unbalanced if I lose CeeDee Lamb. So if we talking about right now, I'm good. I'm keeping CeeDee Lamb. I got Micah Parsons. I don't need Nick Bosa. If you talking about, hey, I'm on Madden, I'm trying to create a team. Hell, if I get a chance to get Nick Bosa and Micah Parsons on the team on Madden, sure. But this team, I'm good. I got Micah Parsons. I don't really need it. Yeah, man. Dalvin Cook, it keeps popping up. He's supposed to be released. I don't know. We'll see. I'll pick up that phone. We did a Hattie B's hot take months ago, I think it was, or a month ago, before the draft, where this news came out that they can't trade Dalvin Cook. He potentially could be released. And I believe I said, I don't think the Cowboys would be interested because of money, but they should be interested if something along those lines. And if he does want more than $5 million, they'll probably say no. Hell, they might even say no if he wants $5 million. Like, go look at the money that Stephen Jones spends on these free agents, man. The cutoff is a 6.5. Alan Hearns, who else was it? Randall Cobb, those type of guys. I think Cook can fall into the Randall Cobb category, low key. So I don't think it'd be egregious to pay him $6 million for a year. But Stephen Jones ain't really trying to spend that bread. Go look at the guys we signed: Edoja, Ronald Jones, who I think they're gonna be all right. These got $1 million, $1.5 million. That's what he's looking for. Hey, and maybe it could be like a former Viking who got put out there on the market, didn't get signed. The expectation for him was to get some money, and he got signed for way less than most people thought he was going to get signed. I'm talking about Anthony Barr. Anthony Barr didn't get the bag. Came to Dallas. Nothing. Let's get to another Pro Bowl caller. Magic City Marv, what's good?
Oh man, listening to your take, you make good sense. You brought up some good points. I'm like, man,
I try. I don't do it all the time, but I try.
You owned it this morning. You know what I'm saying? Like my three I'm gonna go back to your nose tackles. It's gonna be Bo Hank, and Mozzie. I'm gonna stay to my guns. Mozzie is the new 3-tech, and then he can play 3 downs because he's athletic.
I think
when you take Hannigan and the Bo gonna be sharing it, you bring Mozzie. When Mozzie move to the 1, then you're number. What's it, Olga?
Say again.
What's the big guy you like?
Osa? Oh, yeah, Osa, yeah.
That's when you got the passing now. Now you ain't got to have all them little small D ends.
Hey, Marv.
You see what I'm saying?
I tell you this, when teams, if you get teams into being one-dimensional, whether it be because you're outscoring them or whether it be because they just can't run on Hankins and Mozzie, I don't think you have to go full-blown end game when teams start to pass.
You don't.
I don't. I think between Mozzie and Osa, Mozzie giving that power, that push so guys can't step up in the pocket, Osa being able to operate one-on-one, I think you kind of get back to being a bit traditional in the front four. Now Dan is a mad scientist, Marv. He's going to throw out the end game. He's going to throw out 5 defensive ends standing up, amoeba defense roaming around. Like, that's going to happen. But I don't think. Look, man, maybe I'm just being a bit of a homer here. I just really do think Mozzie Smith will provide something in the pass rush department, whether it be power from guys stepping up, he can push back that guard, that center, or whether it be just him using his athleticism and quickness to get into the backfield. So,
yep, he's gonna use Mozzie. Mozzie gonna be your 3-down guy. Hannigan and Bo is gonna be the one that replace each other for reps. Then sometimes Mozzie gets some rest, but Mozzie gonna have 5 sacks. I'm telling you right now.
You just made me think of something. You just made me think of something. We was talking about Bo earlier. I forget who the caller was. And you just reminded me of me and you kind of feel the same way about Mozzie doing some 3-tech things. If they do if they do view him as more of a 3-tech, then Bo's importance becomes bigger, right? Because you don't have 2 1-techs if he's off the team. You got 1, but I don't think they're going to view him as a full-time 3-tech, Mar. I look, I'm with you. I think you'll see both of them.
He can play both.
Yeah, I think he'll play both. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, but Bo is just for Hannigan, so he could get rest. So them 3 gonna play off each other. Now I'm gonna tell you something. This is the time. 96. He ain't gotta play 1 no more. If he really want to make this team, he got to show off as a 3-tech. He got to show off.
Hey, is he the new Tristan Hill? I talk about Bo being the new Tristan Hill. Is he the new Tristan Hill?
He's the new Tristan Hill. He got to show off. And then look what you said, because that dude is so athletic. I remember you said it. Number 58 and number what's the number? Osa.
Who you talking about?
Osa. What's Osa number?
Osa 97.
Okay. 97 and 58, because they so athletic, sometimes you can play them at DN.
And Marv's like.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm coming with? You finna come
Marv
at You finna come
Why you hit us with the evil laugh, Marv? 97.
Hey, man.
58.
It's so exciting. It's like a candy factory. He got a candy. And you're not even. And the guy, Fiola, the new guy, because he remind me of my homeboy, McCrary, who I used to hang with in Seattle when he went to Baltimore. Remember the DN from McCrary used to play for Baltimore Ravens?
Who reminds you of him?
The new guy we got in the 4th round.
Oh, Falco.
Yes, he relentless like that. Never give up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just keep coming.
Yes, he is. He's tenacious. He's tenacious for sure.
And that will make your team there. Now the linebacker's going to eat. You know what's a good thing, though? Like I keep telling my friends, that number 21 going to make everybody eat. Gilmore going to make everybody eat. Now the quarterback ain't going to be, okay, let's pick on number Gilmore. Let's pick on the other corners. You can't do that no more, brother. Now you got to throw toward number 7. You got to throw toward 21.
No, you're right, man.
They're going to try to target Bland. And that's where you get, and the secret weapon is your ball.
Go right on ahead. Target the dude who got 5 interceptions last year against your number 3 wide receiver. Please, I beg of thee.
Oh, no, this is even beautiful. That's how he going to come. When he put your boy Overton in. Because he can play safety too.
Who that?
And he can cut. So you don't know where the blitz coming from.
Marv, who?
Overton.
Overshown. Man, boy, you just be.
Overshown.
Yeah. Overshown. Yeah. I don't think
oh, my God. So this, I think we're going to have a number 1 defense. And then your boy Biotis is a beast.
Facts, big sauce.
You got to give Biotis credit. Because he didn't give up no sack. But you know what we forgot? I was going to tell you.
Who
we
forgot?
Your boy, number 68 started the first 4 games.
Names, Marv. 68.
The guard.
Fournette? Was that Fournette?
No. Fournette, yeah. I was watching the tape. I was like, oh, man, he started 4. He was starting, and then he got hurt. And then 66 took his place.
Yeah. Well, no. You got it backwards there, Marv. 66 started, and he got hurt. And then Fournette.
Yeah, but in the first game, if you go to the first game against Tampa Bay,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
68 started.
No. McGovern started, and then McGovern got hurt. He
got
hurt. All right, you're right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I was shocked. I said, oh, man, Fournette started for real.
You're not right.
And then, now these guys should be better now.
Yeah.
Like everybody keeps saying. We got the ups, like I was telling my friend, we have the ups on Philly, because just like you said, 54 started. Our rookies already played. They rookies got to come in and play now. Philly rookies got to come in and play. Well, they're going to be better than Sam Williams, 4 sacks. What did he get, 6 sacks or 4 sacks?
He had 4 sacks last year, but I think he led the team in tackles for loss. Sam is look. We hit on some rookies last year. Sam, Deron, and Tyler, man. Yeah.
4-4. Come on, man. 264-4. Come on, man.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great D-Law replacement.
He is an upgrade. This D-Law chance to get a Super Bowl. Man. So he better come on. All them veterans, this y'all chance. They stacked the team. And like you said, it's always going to come down to the quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So I'm excited, man. I'm excited, bro. It's going to be a good year. Did you watch the game last night?
Yeah, I watched the game. It was a good one. I hope we get 6 more just like
the Lakers.
Yeah, Lakers game.
You watched it? Before I get off here, come on, LeBron James. You should have drove that ball to the rack.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think LeBron.
He pissed me off.
Yeah, he tried to hit the 3 to he ain't have to do that right there.
And
he
knew
had to do that.
He lost the game because you saw he walked off the court. He knew he lost the game.
Yeah. But I ain't tripping because I like the adjustment that they made to be down 21 and get back in it like that. Maybe we'll see more AD off ball, to help out against Joker. So we'll see.
Yeah, but I feel good.
Yeah, me too.
But when he do that, though, one thing I got to say before I leave, when LeBron James does that, I know he pissed. So I know he's going to do the second game. He know he could go to the rack every time.
Yeah, I mean, every time he went to the rack in this game, he was either getting fouled or he was, an easy layup and dunk. Yeah.
But all I want to say, you got a good show, man. How about the Cowboys? And let's root for Dak Prescott.
Sir.
He's going to be the most valuable player this year. Dak Prescott, I'm putting it down. He will be the best. Yeah, I'm giving it to Dak because his offense suit him. I'm giving it to Dak.
My guy.
That's who's going to be the most valuable player.
My guy. Appreciate you, Mark.
Salute, brother.
Salute.
Good show.
You know what I realized now, and it didn't register to me until Marv started rolling off those damn numbers. I'm like, what? Why is Marv saying all these numbers again? He used to college football season. Marv knows everybody's name. He knows the school. He knows their name, the position. Marv got it down pat. But for some reason, 53 players on the Cowboys is numbers. 778 players in the draft, it's names. I I can't explain it. It's a Marv thing, but I got to re-trigger my brain again now. I got to remember Marv's here. 68, 21, all right. 54, okay, 63. I got to add them up and equal. And then we get the player. Got to retrain my brain, man. Got to retrain my brain. You snuck up in there. Jose. So I'm gonna lock this up. Let me read it. Let me read a couple super chats, and I got you, good brother. By the way, appreciate y'all, man. If y'all enjoying today's show, boy, hit the like button. Give it a like. Tell me I'm lying. I ain't lying. Marv knew everybody's name, number, school, position, their mama, their uncle, who he ran track with in college football. Boy, back to the Cowboys. It's a whole math problem I gotta do to figure out who the hell Marv talking about. All right, man. Towboat dropped one earlier and said, to be the man,
Super chat.
you've got to beat the man. Appreciate you, Towboat Ty. Of course he's dropping that, cuz.
You know I got ya. Yeah. One. Break the walls. Break down the walls.
DC for Life dropped one. He said, good morning, Sky.
Super chat.
Let's freaking go. Can't wait to see what this season brings. Appreciate the DC for Life, Texas. Aaron dropped one. He said, Dono,
Super chat.
exhilarating to watch on all 22. You ain't lying. We can let it roll. Hold on. Let me find the Dono real quick. We can let that thing roll. There you go. Fun. Brother L. Oh, that was yesterday. Towboat dropped one earlier.
Super chat.
Says, say it again and type it in the chat. Philly. Or mother Philly. Excuse my language, ladies. Nah, I feel you. Yeah, man, Donovan Wilson's fun. Donovan Wilson's a weapon. One of my favorite players on the team. D Hitman deserves all the praise, deserves the largest safety contract since Ken Hamlin. And look, I thought Ken Hamlin got the bag. I went back and looked what he actually got. Them up got the Brinks truck. Whoa, wait, what the hell was Jerry Jones thinking back then? Look, I like Ken Hamlin. Sat down with Ken Hamlin, had an amazing interview. Got some insight on that 07 team, DeMarcus Ware. Really great guy. He had a Pro Bowl year in 2007. So did 17 other dudes on that team. And Jerry said, Pro Bowl? Brinks truck. He signed for like 6 years, $40 million. He didn't see that money, all of that money, but still. And it was a lot of funny money. But Dono deserves, I think, this contract, man. And earlier, I saw somebody in the chat, I think it was 6 to Midnight. He said, damn, Sky, I thought J-Ron was your guy. J-Ron, my guy, man. This ain't got nothing to do about my like or dislike for J-Ron, why I think he might not be on this team next year. It's more so I'm just looking at how to land this thing out. Donovan Wilson gets the bag. They want Marquise Bell. Maybe this could rely on Marquise Bell. They want Marquise Bell to kind of take that J-Ron role. Israel McQuamu, he's doing a lot of safety things too, right? I just don't know. Are they going to pay J-Ron again? Now, what could happen? What could happen though? So I am going to kind of go back a little bit. I'm going to push back. I'm going to play devil's advocate to myself. What could happen is J-Ron has another solid season. It's the market. They realize, hey man, you 29, 30. What is he, 30 years old going to be next year? You aren't, the safety in the league. So we aren't, meaning the league, going to pay you a lot of money. And maybe they view him in the light that they viewed LVE. Like, look, man, you play with Dan Quinn. You have a specific role here. We don't really think you like that. So we don't want to pay you a lot of money out in the market. So J-Ron comes back to Dallas and says, what is it going to take to return? And Dallas says, well, 1 year, $3 million. Maybe that's a way they get a J-Ron curse. But I feel like they are preparing themselves to have life without J-Ron. That's all that is. Not saying that I want J-Ron out of here. That's my guy. I just looking at the tea leaves is all. Wait, Zoltan Overshown. What did Marv Carbo? Overton. That's what he called him. Overton. All right, a couple more. Does Overshown remind me of JOK from last year? Nah. Well, it was a couple years ago. Nah. I get where that's. Oh, you're saying Zoltan. You're talking to Zoltan Iceberg. Okay, I got what you're saying. Nah. No. Nah, I get it though. JOK undersized, Overshown, technically undersized at linebacker, safety type of stuff. I think JOK's film was better. But I get it. I can see where you're going. I think he was a better player coming out. I thought he was a first round talent. If he didn't have the whole heart thing, I think he goes in the first round. But that whole heart thing happened. And that's, I kind of compared Overshown to, not compared. I said he's not a Bolton, a Nick Bolton type guy. We're at line, or hell, I won't even say JOK. But at linebacker, these guys, you saw it at linebacker, and you didn't really need to groom them to do these linebacker things. Where I think Overshown, not Overton, while he made leaps and bounds improvements year over year at linebacker, it's clear that we still got some development that we got to do there. And maybe it's big nickel. Maybe it's more downward pass rush type guy. But I love JOK coming out. I thought we were having conversations. I remember it vividly. We were having conversations. Micah Parsons, JOK, Nick Bolton. We're talking about the top 3 linebackers in the draft. That was a fun draft class, man. Fun draft class. That's a good one though, because I love JOK. Big Sarge, Jabril Cox, Neville Gallimore, both in jeopardy of being pushed off the bridge, in the words of Vach. Speaking of which, make sure y'all tune in later on, Vach Lombardi Live. We'll be covering, I think, which coach are we covering? Schottenheimer. We're doing Shotty today. Damn, I forgot I had you on the line, Jose. I'm about to wrap the show up. Let me get you in here. What's good, brother?
For real, man. What was already without me, though?
I was about to bang on you.
I've been trying to. What's up?
I was about to bang on you, man. What's up, though?
My bad. No, I've been trying to get you since the draft, dog. Trying to give you a little shout out. Appreciate what everything you and Botch do. Right before the draft, actually, Sean McEwen came over here for a 7-7 seminar over here in Portersville, Texas. He came over here with, I guess, the high school kids, gave them autographs and shit, give them a little pointers on what they should be doing, everything like that. I wasn't there, but I heard it was pretty nice there. But, a lot of people from this little small town, but 5,000 people, a lot of people got autographs from him and everything like that. I got to meet him, but, yeah, the way this roster's going, I don't know if he's going to be here. But, hey, I just want to shout out everything that Dallas does, everything you do, everything Botch does, pretty much the whole community, dog. Stay humbled about this, and I want to see what's in store, dog, because what's happening now, I haven't seen this in years, and that's literally my lifetime, 30 years. So, to see this, I'm ready. Hope you have a good one, Scott.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate the flowers, big dog. We grinding. Say it again. Say it again. You was muted. Say it again.
Hey. If the people in the back didn't hear it, remember, fuck Philly, dog. Y'all have a great day.
Period. I will always allow that. Man, I don't want to let us win no Super Bowl, dog. All right, man. That'll do it now for the show. If y'all missed today's show, we basically discussed 4 players we believe raised their expectations through play. Running back, Donovan Wilson, Tyler Smith, Jonathan Hankins, and Tyler Biadasz. If y'all agree or disagree, let me know in the comments after the show. And also list some guys that you believe raise their expectations and if they'll meet or exceed those expectations or fail to meet them. In the roundup, we talked about DeMarvion Overshown and being a potential special teams demon. And we did our undrafted free agent spotlight with Darrell Johnson. I'm really intrigued with this kid, man. He got some pass rush to him. So really good stuff today, y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Let me go ahead and press this button. Come on, team. We got a Niners fan in here. Look, I'm not going to ever be one of those type that get mad where other fan bases come in. Even if you troll, just be good at it. Don't be like the one dude down at training camp. Why you don't got shut up. I'm out of here. Love y'all. Peace. What's his name? Philadelphia. How you feel about y'all with the Super Bowl? You okay, sir? Did you eat the crayon? Gina, can I come in, Gina? He sounded like